The government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish.
Of the people, by the people, for the people.
And that government of the people, by the people, and for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Good evening, everyone. Chris McDonald, Mac Files number 15. We are actually doing this very, very late on an early Wednesday morning, late Monday night. We just got back in from a beautiful trip down south and trying to get a few new wrinkles to our podcast here. And we hope you've been enjoying the conversations this last few times in these last few weeks. And we are on the air for a Wednesday, September the 27th. 2016. We're just so happy to have you with us tonight. And we've got a lot to talk about. Goodness gracious, we've got a lot to talk about. And that will include, of course, the debate last night. We're going to talk about our Atlanta Falcons. Not so much winning the football game, but something the Saints did on the field last night that we want to salute and we want to honor. And that theme that we just came in with is going to be the theme of our broadcast. Government for the people, by the people. A government that will never, ever, ever be against the people. And folks, the people that have that choice tonight is not Donald J. Trump or Hillary Clinton. The people that make that happen are you that's watching me tonight, every one of you that listen to this podcast, everyone really in this nation that cares about our country, to get out and vote and do their duty and to do what's right for the country and keeping up with the political race and keeping up with the things that really matter to us. I saw something the other day that Kim Kardashian came out and said that she supported Hillary, and I thought to myself, what a crazy nation we've become, that our determination of who we vote for is based upon a celebrity and a family that, like the Kardashians, and that it's really tragically sad that we've gotten to that point, but we have. But anyway, that's another podcast for another time, I guess. It is good to see you tonight on this Wednesday morning, September the 27th. We're approaching 1 o'clock a.m. in the East. We're not going to make this real long tonight, but we wanted to share a few thoughts with you. And I want to play this clip again that I just played that we came in on, and I want you to listen to this. And I want you to listen to it really, really good, because this is so important as far as what we really are standing for on this program. And I want you to listen to this one more time. So important. Listen.
The government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish.
Of the people, by the people, for the people.
And that government of the people, by the people, and for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
And folks, again, for that government, for the people, and by the people, to not perish off the earth, that must start with us, the American people. We just witnessed a very volatile debate last night. Since it's so late tonight, we're not going to go into every nuance of the debate. I wish I could. We'll do that tomorrow for sure. We'll get back on track because we'll have a very extended Mac Files Thursday and one Friday. We'll do the football Friday. We're also going to do a normal podcast as well. We've just had so much going on this week, and the week has slipped away from us. But we'll have one later this Wednesday afternoon, Thursday and Friday, about the debate in detail. But I do want to mention a few things tonight, and I want to just go over a few things. And, these two candidates right here, they went at it without a doubt. And the pundits out there tonight are just going crazy as to who won. I find it funny. And as I've listened to both conservative and liberal television, I've listened to the people on MSNBC, NBC, listened to the people on Fox, the pundits, Bill O'Reilly, all of them, Krautheimer, and then you get over on the NBC, Chuck Todd, and a lot of them. Very, very few gave Donald Trump hardly any credit for his debate performance Tuesday night, or Monday night, I should say. I keep thinking today's Tuesday. We're already into the wee hours of the morning on Wednesday. But I want to just give you a few thoughts of my own about the debate, and we're going to get into generalities tonight. And then when we get into our podcast later today, we will deal with more specific issues. But I just want to say this about Donald Trump's performance last night. I really believe with all my heart Donald Trump held his own and did a fantastic job for this being his first ever primetime debate in front of possibly 100 million people who possibly watched this thing Monday night. You got to remember, Donald Trump has never ever debated somebody one-on-one. He's had debates with throughout the primary season. He had 15, 16, 17 Republicans on the stage with him, and as those numbers whittled down, he was still there at the end debating anywhere from 6 to 8 other people, 5 people at one time. And that's a lot different than when you just have you and one other person, and those questions are coming at you hardcore, just like machine gun fire at you almost, and you don't have those questions deflected against the other candidates. The only candidate he had to deflect that off of last night was Hillary Clinton. And I'm going to get into a little bit of the issue with Holt, because I feel like he was just an absolute jerk with some of the things that he said. And I'll just leave it at that. And again, that will be more specific things that we'll deal with later today in our podcast. But let me talk about Donald Trump in general. Donald Trump held his own last night. He did a masterful job of dealing with the economic issues. I've heard some of the biggest complaints I've heard throughout the day was, well, he interrupted her so much and he was rude and all this. And again, folks, when you're on a debate stage, this is not tiddlywinks. This is not kindergarten. This is not first grade, second grade, third grade. This is the major leagues of politics. You're on the stage. And Donald Trump was damned if he did, damned if he didn't. If he'd have sat there and let Hillary run her mouth all night, not interrupt her and let her say and spew a bunch of stuff out, the same critics that were criticizing him for interrupting her would say, well, he should have jumped in and said something. And it's the same issue with what I'm hearing today about, well, he missed this opportunity, he missed that opportunity, he didn't hit her on the emails, he didn't hit her on the scandals, he didn't hit her on the Clinton Foundation, he let her get away with it, he brought up the birther issue. Let me correct you about the birther issue. Donald Trump did not bring up the birther issue, folks. That was brought up by Lester Holt. Donald Trump did not bring up his tax situation. That was brought up by Lester Holt. Lester Holt interrupted Trump nearly 7 times, and I think there was one report out that they counted it. There was nearly 41 times during this debate in the 90-minute span that Holt interjected himself into Donald Trump's statements, whereas he did almost zilch for Hillary. And, I said something about a year ago to my good buddy Tom Amos, who I will be with Thursday morning. We're going to be doing a live broadcast from his studio up in Middlesboro with WCXZ 74. We invite you to join us for that. And on our podcast this afternoon, we'll give you the website that you can listen in live on that. But I remember telling Tom back a year and a half ago when Donald Trump first did the debate with Fox News, and they went after him. It was very evident that Megyn Kelly was targeting Trump along with the other Fox reporters that night. And one of the things that I noticed about the questions of Trump, they were always personal, where the other candidates were getting policy questions. Last night, Lester Holt started this debate off asking policy questions, and Trump hit home runs. People were just awed by the way that he was clear as to how he would take the country financially, how he would take it economically with his tax plan. Hillary stood over there and in a straight face basically told the country that I'm going to raise your taxes, I'm going to tax you to hell and back. And again, we'll get into those specifics a little bit more later today. But my point is, Lester Holt turned his attention to Trump at the end of this debate, and he made it more about personal matters, not policy matters. And that's what really hurt Trump a little bit with the debate scorecard with many people when they said, well, he was on his heels there at the end. And look, folks, of course he was. I mean, absolutely he was. And I'm bringing up the picture of Lester Holt, who's right there in the middle, as you see to my right there. And I meant to bring him up here at the beginning anyway. This is live television, folks. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Cut me a little slack here. But I felt Lester Holt's line of questioning was very, very unfair. Very unfair. And, Donald Trump has said all along that these elections are rigged, the debates are rigged. And, everybody laughs him off and says, Donald, that's just sour grapes. And, he's very gracious this morning. I heard him on Fox and Friends, and they asked him point blank, do you think Lester Holt was fair or unfair? And Donald, look, if Donald would have said he was unfair, his critics would have jumped on that and said he's just crying like a baby and crying foul. But, folks, I think most American people that saw this debate Monday night saw the slant that Lester Holt did toward Donald and not toward Hillary. A lot of questions that he asked Donald were to basically hammer him about his taxes, about his personal life, about his bankruptcies, and the sexist comment at the end when he asked him, basically, well, did you say that Mrs. Clinton don't have the face for the presidency? Folks, that was nothing but a sexist slap at Donald J. Trump. And if his record on women is fair game, let me tell you something. Hers is too. Hers is too. Let me just bring you 5 points real quick tonight that I want to just, and we'll deal with these again in detail later today. But this is my takeaway, my 5 takeaways from the Fox News debate last night, or the presidential debate. Somebody forgot to tell Lester Holt that he's supposed to moderate the debate and not debate Donald Trump. And the Nobody But Clinton Network and the Clinton News Network, they together really have this thing for Donald, and they cannot be fair, so help them God. And he was clearly in the tank for Clinton. There's a possibility he's even auditing to be her press secretary. He interrupted Trump, pressed him on several questions, compared that to Hillary's. Hillary got some home field cooking last night at this debate. Now, some people don't agree with that. A lot of the media don't agree with that today, or didn't agree with that today, but I saw it, and that's how I feel. Number 2, the thing I took away from this debate last night, Hillary Clinton does not hold you, the American voter, or the American people in general, in high esteem. Less than a month ago, she referred to mainstream America, who are supporting Trump, as a basket of deplorables. But when she used that term last night in the debate, that we have an implicit bias against African Americans, she basically was in a veiled way and veiled terminology saying we're all racist. And if you don't go along with this Black Lives Matter movement, if you don't go along with the narrative that black people are being shot by cops unfairly, if you don't go along with these narratives, you're racist. And this implicit bias was offensive to me. And it should be offensive to every one of you, no matter your color. Because, folks, racism cuts both ways in this nation. And again, for us to have a real talk about race, let's get both sides agreeing that both sides are guilty of it. But we're not having that conversation, and Hillary Clinton stoked the race card in that debate last night. Number 3, Donald Trump's record on women is fair game, so is Hillary's. If you're going to bring up something that Donald Trump said 20, 30 years ago about women, bring up what her husband said about what he did to women, and then her attacking those women back in the 1990s. She needs to be called out for the terrible things that she said. She also needs to be called out for taking money from countries that treat women as second-class citizens and basically encourage husbands to use violence against women because Sharia law and the Quran teaches that they have the right to do that. And number 3, she really was condescending to him last night, and when she was talking about his taxes and maybe he don't make as much money as he claims, maybe he don't give enough money as much to charity as he claims, folks, those are slaps, those are personal attacks on his achievements. And, she went on to say last night the only reason he was successful was because of his father. But to be fair, Trump could have turned to her and said, Hillary, your success is based upon your husband. You wouldn't even be on this stage if it wasn't for the fact that you stuck your hand over your eyes for all these years at Bill Clinton's affairs just so you would have the political clout to get in front of the American people like you're doing tonight. Number 4, Trump does not win on the birther issue. He does not win on withholding his taxes. The mainstream media continues to bring this up. It was a stupid question, has no relevance for this election. It has no relevance. And to be frank with you, if you're going to get into an argument about the birther issue, it was Hillary's camp that basically started the issue. Trump got involved in it, which I don't think he should have. He should have let it go. But the facts of the matter is that John Podesta and Sidney Blumenthal, her campaign people, were the first ones to raise the question about Barack Obama. And we're going to talk about the birther issue more ourselves. And Dinesh D'Souza had a great tweet tonight, and I'm going to find this tweet that he said up here. And one of the things that Dinesh D'Souza said about the birther issue is this. He said, I am not a birther. And he said, but this is the thing. I was never a birther, but what's racist about asking where the son of a Kenyan foreign student visitor to America was actually born? It's a good question. And folks, I don't know if you realize this, and most people have forgotten about this, but Barack Obama spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, perhaps millions, to keep his college records sealed at both at Yale and Harvard, the schools that he went to. He had all of that sealed so the country could not see his college transcripts. And I don't want to become a birther myself on this podcast, but you only seal stuff that you don't want out there because you're afraid of what the public's going to think about it. And on those college exams, on the entrance forms, on those entrance applications, you have to tell where you're born. You take that as what you want, but that's just that's just my take on that. But Trump needs to leave it alone. It needs to be put to bed. But see, the mainstream media is not going to let it be put to bed because they can hammer him on that, even though they don't hammer her for being the source of where it started. Unfair bias. Number 5. I will agree with the mainstream media's assertion, most of them today, that there was no real clear winner last night. Basically, the mainstream media's disgustive narrative. I think most people tuned in last night and saw a Donald Trump that was not crazy, that was not a psychopath. He wasn't unhinged. He wasn't all hot under the collar. And folks, I'm going to just disagree vehemently, even with Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly said tonight to the effect that he felt like that Trump was not coherent in some of the things he was saying to Hillary, but that only took place at the end of the debate when he was getting hammered with these personal attacks. And I don't think there's a soul listening to me today, if you were on that stage and they were hammering you about your personal life, that you'd like it. None of us would like that. And I don't think Donald Trump liked it, and I sure won't like the way they did him. Hillary, and I look at this picture on my podcast, and she's got that smug, that's her face today, that smug look on her face and that smirkiness all night long, was basically a condescending look to you, the American voter, and the American public. That's how she feels. She feels she's above the law. She thinks she's above everything. And I want to throw this bone out tonight because, again, it's almost 1:30 in the East in the morning. I'm doing this late. I just got in from the trip, and I wanted to do this for today. We're going to do a whole full podcast later today. There's a story circulating in the Baltimore Gazette and other named sources out there that she was possibly handed these questions beforehand. So she was prepared not only for Donald Trump, but she had the freaking questions in hand. So no wonder she was so calm. And again, it's an unfair advantage. And people mock at Trump and say, well, he was claiming the microphone was messed up, and they're saying, well, that's just sour grapes. Well, whether it's sour grapes or what, folks, if the mic was messed up, he has a legitimate complaint. But having said all that, there was no clear winner last night, but that does not mean Donald Trump lost. I think the reality of it is Donald Trump won this debate, if nothing else, by just showing up and being on equal footing with her, and him not allowing her to run roughshod over him. And I've had some Facebook friends that have really taken some shots at Trump today about, well, she ran circles over him. If you listen to this debate, folks, she did not run circles over Donald Trump. Her answers were the typical progressive, left-wing, left-loon, liberal talking point stuff that has been in play for 30 years. And folks, Donald Trump, the best line of the night was when he turned to Hillary. He said, Hillary, you have been in this place for 30 years. You've not done a blankety-blank thing to solve it. And I added the blankety-blank, Donald didn't. He said, why are you up here trying to convince the American people that you can solve it now? And folks, the truth is she cannot. And we're going to talk about the specifics of the debate again later today, but I wanted to get that out there for just the sake of discussion today. And again, it's just, this man right here, Lester Holt, and I'm on my screen here, bottom right in the middle, very shameful. And, you go back to Candy Crowley, the Clinton News Network, and you go back to him with this nobody but Clinton. Look, folks, to be a Republican and get in these debates is suicide many times because they just don't get a fair shake. They've never gotten a fair shake. And we've got 2 more debates, one on October the 9th, one on October the 16th. The next one will be a town hall. Anderson Cooper will be moderating that. And look, if I'm Donald Trump, get prepared. You're not going to get a fair shake there. He's got to toughen up on her. One quick thing, though, I will say, and then I'm going to change subjects. I do respect Donald Trump for something he did at the end last night. When she was landing these racist, sexist blows and these comments about his stating things about women that are probably dated 20, 30 years ago, he turned to her and he basically told her, he said, Hillary, I'm going to find the clip and play it later today. But he said, Hillary, he said, I could really say a lot of nasty things about your family. He said, but your daughter's sitting out here in the audience. And he said, for her sake, I made a decision before I got on the stage that I wasn't going to go down that road. That showed a lot of class. The media pundits and these know-it-all assholes out there on Fox, and all of them, I didn't listen to a show today that didn't say the same thing. Why didn't he just go after her and be strong? Folks, it's a shame when a man shows restraint and doesn't get in the ditch with somebody throwing mud at him that the media thinks that's a bad thing. That should tell you everything you need to know about the media. Most of you listening to this podcast already know that, but most don't. And it's a terrible shame, and it's a travesty what they've done in distorting the news and slanting this, trying to at least for her. My take on what happened last night, I think a lot of people saw the unfairness, and I think it's going to backfire on her. She was so smug today in North Carolina, and just thinking, boy, she had really hit a home run last night. But I will tell you this, and I heard one of the Fox people say this, and which I did agree with this. If her poll numbers start dropping after this debate last night, she's screwed. She is screwed, folks. Look, there's a poll out today. Her and him are tied in Minnesota. And to put that in historical perspective, in 1984, Walter Mondale lost 49 states of the Union. The only state that liberal Walter Mondale won was Minnesota. That is the most liberal state in this country, other than California. And for Donald Trump and her to be tied with less than a month to go now, or almost a month and a week for the election, if I'm the Clinton camp, I'm a little worried tonight. But I'm going to tell you something. It was a BS display of elitist snobbery that I saw on that stage last night from her, and that smirk and those comments about implicit bias. Folks, those were racist hits at us, and that's the kind of candidate you've got in Hillary Clinton. And, look, I make no bones about it. I'm on the Trump train. I've been on the Trump train for a long time. And I'm not so much saying this as a biased person. I'm not saying this as a partisan. I'm just saying that even if I wasn't for Trump and I heard that coming from a candidate, that would be very offensive, and it was offensive, and it should be offensive to you. And that's my short take on the debate. We're going to get more into the specifics today, some of the things that were brought up about the tax policy the law and order issue, something that Trump said, got the black community all riled up today. And again, it was one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't things. No matter what he said, somebody was going to get offended. It's amazing she can say the crap she said, and not a word was said in the media today about that. But everything about Trump and what he was saying got press coverage today. My take on it is Donald Trump did not lose last night. Hillary Clinton did not win. It pretty much was a draw. It did not move the needle, I don't think, in either direction. If anything, Trump may gain a little bit of momentum simply for showing up and showing the world that he's not Adolf Hitler reincarnated. And that's just my take on that. Something else happened last night that was going on, and I want to change screens here. And I'm really proud of my Atlanta Falcons. And as you're seeing over here to your left, we've got a slideshow going on. What you're seeing here, folks, this was what took place last night in New Orleans, Louisiana at the Superdome. And my Falcons go Coons 45-32. Sorry, Mike Long. But they beat those New Orleans Saints last night with an offensive display I've never seen this team have in a long, long time. But I'm not here to talk about the game. I'm here to talk about this right here. What you're seeing is both the Saints and the Falcons during the national anthem joined arms last night in a show of unity and a show of respect for our country. Not one player, not one, knelt, not one disrespected our flag, and not one gave any kind of inclination that they were against America. That is a class act right there that you're seeing. What you're seeing is a classy act by two teams, and I salute Sean Payton and I salute Dan Quinn for allowing their teams to do this before the game. This is what sports needs to be about. This is what it needs to look like every Sunday in every stadium. This is what we need. And I am so very proud. Look, I've been a Falcons fan since I've been a baby. I tell you, I love my team, and we've been through some tough years, but I have never been more proud of them last night before any football was ever snapped than what they did. And you know, the Saints are a bitter rival, but I salute Sean Payton and the New Orleans Saints today. And I really thank God for the attitude of these players that show that they do love our country and they do respect our country. In contrast, and I hate to use these words, but I swear, folks, it irritates me to the point of just wanting to shake a knot in some folks, but the jackasses like Colin Kaepernick and these jackasses in Miami and these other teams that have caused high schoolers now to start not wanting to stand for our national anthem. What you're seeing here is how it's supposed to be done, in contrast to the utter disrespect and the utter stupidity of the other players. And I salute the Atlanta Falcons for that. Let me see if I can come to my screen too. I think we've got a video of this, and we do. Here we go. I want you to watch this real quick. We're going to have a little ad, I'm sure. And you can see they stand together. I'm trying to get it to come, and here we go. Watch this. This is really good stuff. This is the ESPN feed last night. Sorry for the ad here. If it wasn't for ads, we wouldn't have nothing, would we?
Confidence.
Exactly. And let's see here. We got 20 seconds. Maybe it'll let me get that ad out of there. Nope, it's not going to let me do it. Give me 15 seconds and I'll show you this. This is a great video, folks. This will make your heart beat. It made mine beat. It made me tear up today watching this. I was trying to watch both the debate and the Falcons game last night. And this is what was going on prior to the game. Look at this.
End of the national anthem, you see the two teams moving toward the flag and toward the center of the field. The two coaches talked to each other this week, with all the attention given the player comportment around the national anthem. They had the two quarterbacks get in touch with each other.
I'm sorry?
The two teams decided they wanted to be completely respectful to the national anthem, all the players standing at attention, but now they're joining hands and getting together for a moment of silent prayer, reflection, whatever the players choose to do, and coaches individually, with an eye toward what has transpired this week in Tulsa and Charlotte. They wanted this to be a sign of unity among these division rivals.
Here's Coach Payton.
Well done.
Good job, Coach. Good job, Coach. And that was that, folks. That was a tremendous tremendous
of the people, by
thing.
the people,
Hang on just a second.
for
We've
the
got
people, shall not
John
perish.
Wayne going in
Of
here.
the
Let me
people,
stop him.
by the people.
Again, we're on live TV, folks. All this stuff happens sometimes. But anyway, I wanted to just give them a shout out and a tremendous display last night in New Orleans, not just of football, but of patriotism in a very, very powerful way. And again, we're about to bring this to a close tonight. And as we bring this to a close, I want to mention one other thing, and I don't have a lot of time to talk about it, but we want to send a shout out to our friends in Israel tonight, and very, very sad at the news of the passing of this man right here, Shimon Peres, the former prime minister. He was 93 years old. He passed away earlier tonight, and one of Israel's great leaders during a time of the Intifada when the Palestinian Authority was launching suicide attack after suicide attack. Him and Benjamin Netanyahu, Ariel Sharon, of course, who's now gone. He died back about 2 years ago after having a stroke during the giveaway of the Gaza. But this man right here at least tried to reach out many times to the Palestinians for peace, and they rejected so many offers of this man too. And he was a friend of the United States. He was a great statesman for Israel. And the Bible tells us to pray for the peace of Jerusalem tonight, and we need to do that. But I salute him, and I salute our Jewish friends, and I salute the nation of Israel, and I salute his memory tonight and honor him on the Mac Files. This was a great man, and we need to be praying for Benjamin Netanyahu. And we're going to do a podcast soon about the United States and the Israeli connection and some of the things that have happened even recently with President Obama. That nation has been treated the absolute worst it has ever been treated by this country since Barack Obama's been in office, and that is pathetic. But that's another podcast for another time. Tonight, I just want to say salute and shalom to all of our Jewish brethren and honor the memory and the passing of Shimon Peres, who is dead at age 93. And that's that for the Mac Files tonight. We are so glad that you joined us again. It's a little late. We hope that we've given you a little bit of things to think about. And we love doing these podcasts. We tell you that all the time, and we really mean that. And we hope that something we've said has given you a few thoughts to think about. And we do appreciate you, and we hope you have a great week ahead. We'll see you later today on another Mac Files. You'll get 2 for the price of 1, and no refunds on admission. That's all I got to say. But so glad to be home, and we're glad we're back in the hills, at least for a little bit. We loved our trip down south. Good to be back here in this mountain air too. And we look forward to seeing you later today on the Mac Files. Godspeed. God bless America. Good night, everyone. Have a blessed and a safe Wednesday ahead. May God bless you.